Good evening and welcome to the Connecticut Department of Transportation Public Information Meeting for project number 65-116, the replacement of bridge number 1947, Route 4 over Brook in Harwinton. My name is Leslie Ruiz and I am a project engineer with the Connecticut Department of Transportation. I would like to welcome everyone to tonight's presentation and I hope it is informative and we're able to answer your questions. First, I'm going to start with the closed captioning feature in Zoom. You can access this by going to the show captions located on the toolbar and then click on speaking language and select your preferred language. A voluntary post-meeting survey is available at the link posted below. The results of this survey will help us improve these public meetings going forward. The civil rights notice to the public is also available at the link that we're posting below. And both of these links are located on our webpage. And this slide is the Title VI notice to the public, which states that the Connecticut Department of Transportation operates its programs and services without regard to race, color, and national origin, in accordance with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act. Any person who believes she or he has been aggrieved by any unlawful discriminatory practice under Title VI may file a complaint with the Connecticut Department of Transportation, Federal Transit Administration, or Federal Highway Administration. And here is the same information, but it was translated to Spanish. And there are multiple ways you can communicate with us tonight. You can send a message via the Zoom Q&A tool, which I'm going to explain a little bit how to access. And this option is only available during tonight's meeting. You can also send an email to DOT project 65-116@ct.gov. And also you can call and leave us a message at 860-594-2020. And please include the project number, which is 65-116, and your contact information. You can send questions or provide comments through August 12, 2025 via the email or leaving using the phone number above and leaving a voicemail. And this information is also available on our project webpage. So to ask a question or make a comment using the Q&A feature, click on the Q&A in the toolbar. Then we'll bring up the Q&A window. You can type your question or comment where it says type your question here, and you can send it. And we'll be answering the questions in the order we receive them. And this feature, again, is only available during tonight's presentation. I would like now to introduce the project team. And with the Connecticut Department of Transportation, starting from the top left to the right, we have Derek Lazar. He is a division chief of bridges. We have Gregory Funk. He's our principal engineer. We have Christopher Patria. He is our supervising engineer, again, myself. And from the Office of Rights of Way, we have Jack Carlson. He's a property agent. And from our consultant liaison, VHB, Mark Levesque, he is the program manager, and Mark would be the MC for the question and answer session of tonight's presentation. And Jonathan Crowley, he is a project engineer, and Jonathan will go over more detail about the existing bridge and the proposed condition for this project. And also our designer for this project is Stantec Consulting Services. And at this time, I would like to hand the presentation over to Jonathan.
Good evening. Thank you, Leslie, for the introduction. So I'm going to speak to kind of existing conditions, the project purpose and need, and the proposed conditions. So the project purpose and need, the purpose of this project is to replace bridge number 1947 due to its structural deficiencies in order to provide a hydraulically adequate structure that is in a state of good repair and that is capable of meeting current load rating and highway design standards. So our bridge, 1947, is located here in the center. You'll see here it's the intersection of Route 72 and Route 4, so it's approximately 3/4 of a mile east of the intersection of Routes 4 and 72 in Harwinton. This is an aerial view of the structure. Route 4 goes west to east. The unnamed brook flows from the north to the south, as shown. Couple things to note about this particular site. You'll see here just west of our bridge, there is a barn with the white roof. Currently, it's a portion of it is within the state's right of way. And it has been identified as potentially eligible for the National Register of Historic Places. Just for a little bit of reference, the approximate location of the right of way line is right where you see this tree line intersecting across the top. So next, I'll go into some more photos of the project site. The photo here on the left is the bridge from the west approach. A few things to note is there is a driveway immediately adjacent to our structure here on the left side, which is the northwest corner. Along the south edge of roadway, there are overhead utilities adjacent to the roadway. This photo here on the right is the bridge from the east approach. Again, you see the utilities on the south side. And this section of Route 4 is a tangent section, so purely straight. Looking at the upstream conditions, you can see there's a lot of vegetation. This channel actually approaches the bridge at approximately a 45-degree angle, so a very steep approach to the structure. This photo here on the right is looking from the bridge to the upstream channel. Again, this is looking along the channel, so you can see the wing, the northeast wing wall here in the corner, and the flow essentially goes adjacent to it before taking that turn underneath the bridge. Looking downstream, the flow exits the structure perpendicular to the structure. There's a small drainage swale and a drainage outlet here that provides outlet for the drainage along the west approach. Right here in the corner, that's the southwest corner of the bridge. And the photo on the right is of the downstream channel. Again, goes perpendicular to the structure. Flow is very, very calm and gentle during normal conditions. Some facts about the existing bridge is it was constructed originally in 1927, and it provides a total travelway width of 28 feet 7 inches, split into two 12-foot lanes here in the center, and then one shoulder is 2 feet, the other one's 2'7". There's a fairly high traffic volume here at the site with 13,700 vehicles per day. It's currently posted for a speed of 45 miles an hour. Provides a crossing for a drainage area of 0.81 square miles. The existing structure is hydraulically inadequate, so just during the design storm, it does reach the bottom side of the structure. The current structure type is a reinforced concrete slab that sets upon two reinforced concrete abutments on each side. The primary deficiency for the structure and the reason for replacement is here at the water line, there's a lot of scale, so eroding of the concrete. And then underneath, the channel has washed out to also expose some of the footings. So something that would require a full replacement of a structure to address. So for this site, we are proposing to replace it with a 20-foot by 7-foot precast reinforced concrete box culvert. For this, we would actually be providing a slightly wider travelway with 11-foot lanes and 8-foot shoulders. This will allow us to widen the roadway to provide bicycle access or future bicycle access to this section of Route 4 should it decide to be extended past the eastern project limits. There'll be open bridge rails, so you'll be able to see the crossing as you're driving across, and basically a standard pavement profile on top of the structure. For fisheries and concerns, to just mimic what's there currently, there'll be 2 feet of natural stream bed material placed within the stream. And a small skew will be introduced to the structure of 15 degrees just to improve that inlet condition to reduce that sharp bend. Looking in plan, for us to do improvements within the project limits is a number of things that we're doing. Immediately adjacent to the structure, where we're going to be removing the existing structure and putting in the proposed precast concrete box culverts, there'll be full depth construction of the roadway. Because we are widening the structure, widening the cross section of the roadway at the structure, we'll also have to do several sections of full depth shoulder widening in each of the 4 corners to transition from the existing cross section to the proposed. There'll be metal guide rail attachments on all 4 corners of the 3 of the 4 corners of the bridge. Adjacent to the temporary driveway here, there'll be a curved barrier wall to provide adequate protection of the blunt end in that corner. There'll be new drainage all here along the west approach, as we will be slightly modifying the vertical profile of the roadway to improve drainage, so that way it drains appropriately across the bridge into a new low point here that is away from the driveway next to the bridge. For us to widen the roadway too, we'll also have to relocate. As I mentioned before, there are utilities that run all along the south side of the roadway. We'll be relocating those utility poles further away from the roadway to the minimum distance required just to accommodate that widening. Here's an image of what the proposed profile looks like. We're raising it the minimum amount possible to get the positive drainage that we're looking for across the structure into the new low point on the west approach. So it's approximately 6 inches of raise on the east approach to accomplish that. Remaining sections all within the project limits will undergo mill and overlay to improve that pavement condition. For this, we anticipate the contractor to do the majority of the shoulder widening and a lot of the initial work in advance to prepare for a 2-week closure of Route 4, during which the contractor will remove the existing structure, wing walls, and walls and such, and install the new precast concrete box culvert, all the new wing walls, and other components of the bridge itself. Given the high volume with the 13,700 vehicles, this is preferred over any type of long-term alternating one-way staging, which would result in far more delays. We also recognize the fairly straight section of Route 4 too, so there is a tendency for high speeds. So this is both the safest and we believe the minimal impact to traffic possible for this particular project. So for this detour, we're proposing to use the existing section Route 4, Connecticut Route 69, down to US Highway 6, and then up to Route 72. Realistically, a lot of traffic going through this section. Likely will continue to go up Route 8 and go east further north of our bridge, or take a route further south. Same for going for traffic coming from the opposite direction. So again, we don't anticipate this to be a significant impact to traffic, and far preferable to any type of alternating one-way traffic. The contractor would be allowed to close the road for up to 2 weeks. This would be at a time when school is not in session. Typically, we give the contractor a month's window in which to do the 2-week closure for their optimal readiness and to pick the optimal conditions in which to do the detour. For this particular project, they're very simple environmental permits. One is the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers self-verification form, and then the Connecticut Deep General Permit for Water Resource Construction Activities, two basic inland wetland permits that have to do with the wetland impacts within the site. So right now they're contained within the state's right of way. Just has to do with regrading of the channel to accommodate the new structure. And then for some on the approaches, just because again, we are widening the roadway and just the transition requires us to bump out that fill slope just a little bit. Looking at utilities and rights of way, for utilities, I mentioned that there are utilities along the south edge of roadway. Though before utility poles total, that will have to be temporarily and permanently relocated to accommodate the work, to allow for cranes to get in there to set the new sections and remove existing portions of the bridge. There is a water main that runs along the north edge of Route 4, which is outside of the footprint of the existing and proposed structures. So we do not anticipate any impacts as a result of said water main. For rights of way, there is that private barn that is partially located within the state's right of way, and that may be potentially eligible for the National Register of Historic Places. All of our grading terminates in front of proposed grading and terminates in front of said barn, so there are no impacts anticipated to said property as a result of this project. The proposed structure and all proposed grading will be within the state's right of way, so there are no permanent easements for this project. There will be temporary construction easements as the driveway that is in the northwest corner will have to be temporarily relocated in order to provide continuous access to it during construction and especially during the roadway closure. And right now, I'll turn it over to Jack Carlson from the Connecticut Department of Transportation Rights of Way Office to go over the rights of way process.
Thank you, John. Good evening. My name is Jack Carlson, and I serve as Assistant Project Coordinator with the Department's Division of Rights of Way. Our office is responsible for acquiring the property rights necessary to carry out transportation projects. As mentioned earlier in the presentation, this project will require the acquisition of property rights. I'd like to take a few minutes to walk you through our acquisition process, but before I begin, please note the specific right-of-way impacts are still being finalized and may change as the project design progresses. Additionally, any needed property rights will be acquired in accordance with the Connecticut General Statutes Section 13A 73 and 13A 98E, as well as the Uniform Relocation Assistance and Real Property Acquisition Policies Act, commonly referred to as the Uniform Act. Next slide, please. The acquisition process begins once the project design reaches a key development milestone and all impacts to private property have been determined. At this stage, our office sends out each affected property owner a formal letter of intent to acquire, along with a property map that clearly outlines the specific property rights being acquired as shown on the right side of your screen. Next, we establish the fair market value of the required property rights. This valuation forms the basis of our offer of just compensation, which is provided the property owner in writing. A rights-of-way agent will then be available to meet with the property owner to explain the project's details, discuss the specific impacts to their property, and go over the department's offer. Property owners will then have a reasonable amount of time, typically 30 days, to consider the department's offer and enter into negotiations. If an agreement on value is reached, the department will then prepare all of the necessary paperwork to record the deed and property map on the town land records. However, if an agreement is unable to be reached, to keep the project on schedule, the department will acquire the necessary property rights through its power of eminent domain. In that case, the state files a notice of condemnation with the Superior Court and deposits the amount of the initial offer into court. Property owners then have 6 months from the date on the notice of condemnation to file an appeal if they felt the department's offer was inadequate. Regardless of whether an appeal is filed, the deposited funds are available to be withdrawn by the property owner. It's important to note that the department only acquires property rights that are necessary for the project. I'll be happy to answer any questions about the right-of-way process during the Q&A session at the end of the presentation. And with that, I'll hand it back to Leslie. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. So at this time, we are anticipating construction to begin in the spring of 2028 and be completed by the fall of 2028. We're currently estimating a construction cost approximately of $2,625,000, which will be paid with 80% federal and 20% state funds, and no funding will be required from the town. And please note, these are all preliminary and subject to change. At this point, I would like to turn the presentation over to Mark, who will be the MC for the question and answer portion of the presentation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Leslie, John and Jack. As Leslie mentioned, my name is Mark Levesque. I'm the project manager with VHB, and I'm going to be the MC for the evening. First of all, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us, whether it be on Zoom or watching on YouTube. The purpose of this meeting is to provide the public with an overview of the project, to get feedback and answer any questions you might have. With that being said, we're now going to have a live question and answer session with the design team available to answer any questions. As Leslie had mentioned before, there are 3 ways you can ask a question. First is by email. It's dotproject0065-0116@ct.gov. The second is by phone. Number is 860-594-2020. Leave a voicemail, and when you leave a voicemail, please put the project number 65-116. If you can just state that project number, and we'll direct it to the right project team if we're not able to answer it tonight. Also, you can do the Q&A function Leslie had mentioned before. There should be a tab on your Zoom screen that says Q&A. Just click on that tab, type the question, and hit send. This will only be available during this live meeting on Zoom. It's not available if you're watching on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, please ask via email or voicemail. We're going to be checking those throughout the meeting, and we'll try to answer those questions tonight. If not, there's a 2-week period where we'll be taking these questions and answering, and that period is going to end on August 12th, 2025. I do want to remind everybody about a project webpage. It's portal.ct.gov/DOT Harwinton 0065-0116. There's a lot of good information about the project, and it includes all these email and voicemail numbers. There's also an optional post-meeting survey that if anyone has time, you can fill that out. It helps us improve these meetings for the future. Yeah, we read those, and hopefully it helps us improve the process. I've added the project email, the voicemail, the webpage, the voluntary post-meeting survey, and the Title VI information to the Zoom chat. We're now ready to start the live Q&A session, and we'll check if there's any questions. Meanwhile, we'll be checking the voicemail and the email. And again, we understand there's some people that may not be able to attend the live meeting, so this will be posted on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, you can still ask questions all the way up until August 12th, 2025, and we'll try to provide an answer. Best way for that is by phone 860-594-2020. Please state the project number 65-116, or the email dotproject0065-0116@ct.gov. No questions yet, but we'll keep it open for a little bit. Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions tonight. I think we're going to end the presentation. As a reminder, you can still ask questions through email. And that is DOT project 0065-0116 @ct.gov. By phone 860-594-2020, project number 65116. And we'll have that open through August 12th, 2025. Really appreciate you spending the time to view our presentation. Thank you. We'll be looking forward to any questions you may have and providing your feedback. Thanks and have a good night.